Okay, so we're doing a couple of viewer features here today. I think one of them is a progress. We've had Travis on the show here a couple times. He's got a lot to show me this time, I think.
All right, so it says, good afternoon, Jeremy. As we talked about at the shop, I am in the process of reworking my full black and gray Japanese plus tribal bodysuit. You mentioned that you might like to feature the work on your YouTube. The vast majority of the work below the neck has been completed by Kurt Wiscombe at Tattoos for the Individual in Winnipeg, MB. And then they provide a website. Terry is doing the hand and finger rework, and the head and throat was done by Hori Yule in Vancouver, BC, which is featured already. I hope I didn't butcher that name too bad. First stage photos attached. August 2023, left lower sleeve, peony, one pass of color done last August. All existing work will be re-outlined before it's colored, which I think that should be always done. Healed photo attached. Second one, June 2024, design and outlining of the back and chest to begin the covering of the tribal. Back will be single oni. Chest will be a snake and peony. Shoulder, Kema and peonies also. All will be full color to cover the black. Also re-outlined the peonies on my ass and upper legs, added to the shading on the chest. It added shading to the chest. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where I am in this mess.
A lot has happened.
It is a lot. Sorry. When you have two messages and there's the whole thing in both. This has taken 3 sessions so far. 4 more are booked from August 2024 and 4 more sessions booked after that. And he says, hey again, Jeremy, I would have been more clear. Original bodysuit was done by Kurt, started in the late 90s and is completing the cover-ups and rework / color work. All of the work is being done at Tattoos for the Individual. I'm aiming to have all the work done in the next 2 to 3 years. So let's have a look.
He can do it. He's got a pretty good schedule.
He seems to sit really well too, from what I've observed. Usually I'm pretty busy when they're in here, so
you don't really get this far and start again if you don't sit well, right? So like, I've had people come in, comment things on my photos and stuff, and they're like, do you use numbing cream? It's like, you don't get multiple bodysuits if you use numbing cream. You sprint through to get the picture you want and never touch it again.
I think that,
those are the people who use numbing cream.
I think the people who ask those questions, too, aren't the people who have actually tried numbing cream. I think people think that numbing cream is this, magical thing, and I don't really think it is. Depending on what you're doing,
for some people it is.
Yeah, right? It really depends.
But, also, there's downsides to it, and I don't really want to get into all of that
anyways, let's talk about the work.
So, yeah, Travis has been coming to see Terry here. He's been getting his hands reworked, and it's been nice chatting with this fella. He's got a really cool full head tattoo he showed off here as well. Obviously the sleeve is it's going color. It was all black and gray, and it's going very easily. A lot of people who ask me all the time if you can cover black and gray with color, and it's like, oh yeah, it's even easier than black is to cover, because it's softer, right?
Yeah.
So wherever you're covering lighter, it's going to be easier than darker, right? And if you're doing more or less the exact same thing, you're just coloring it in.
Oh yeah.
Then you can use the gradient of the black and gray to your advantage almost, right? Because you're just like, okay, well, I just don't need to darken my colors over the dark areas. It's going to do that naturally. If you use the same color, there's probably some places where you might have to make some modifications, but it's theoretically not really that challenging on the brain to just color in where you've done black and gray shading.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's no surprise to me that that's worked, and it will surprise some people, but it's very basic for me. The back piece is a little more interesting, I think, because he's going over hard black and negative space, and you're seeing the black line is going to be the same no matter where you go, right? Like, it's going to be dark as fuck, especially this is older black. Now, that black appears black next to the negative space, but
it's probably a dark gray.
It is by now, most likely, but like, it would look fairly black if you didn't have that fresh black
the fresh
there.
black next to it.
And I'm sure that the black outline dulled down a little bit, but I'm sure it's like
very visible
still. And I have no question they're going to be able to pull this off.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the progress on this piece.
When I seen him, he told me that the guy who did it for him, it was like, oh, I got some really, really black ink sitting in the back. I've never had a use for it. So a buddy of mine made for me. Let's give it a try. And I was like, yeah, now you're speaking my language.
I like that. That seems like fun.
Yeah, it's some fucking thick-ass black ink that's like almost too black is what he was telling me. And
interesting.
I'm like, it reminded me of the Painter's Legs episode of Remy Reacts from like 2 or 3 years ago when the guy had his legs blacked out with some acrylic paint or something.
Yeah.
It's like, well, whatever gets the job done. I think this is the play, especially for guys that have had multiple back suits or back tattoos. You just want to go big and bold, right? Like, that's why I chose the Krampus face, too. It was like, I don't want to be messing around with all these little fucking details on that thing forever.
No, I think
I was starting to get tired of it towards the end already.
A smart choice, too.
Every time you work on your back, the sessions are just, like, long as fuck, painful in places, and just you're sweating and you're exposed, and it's just like, it's not the best place to get tattooed. So I think for most people, the right call is going to be to do, especially for a cover-up, just big and bold. And yeah, I have no doubt that all of this is going to do exactly what they want it to do. I think that black is going to be covered very, very easily.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to develop fairly quickly as well. I'd like to feature the whole ride. Yeah, minor note here. You can see the palm tattoos he has. Those were done by Luke Ashley. We featured that on the show as well on a palm tattoo video. So
cool.
He's got a lot of cool work, you know. I really like it. And yeah, I see the front here. I think this is definitely the right call.
He's got his old Tribal was actually really cool.
It was really well done.
Yeah, it was, but
cool
it's not like
too.
The typical jagged
We already
Tribal.
know my
I
thoughts
like
on nipples, but he assures me that those are going.
Oh, good.
So.
Yes. Yeah, I think they need to go.
I think he's done his armpit recently, too.
Nice.
I think he had avoided that for the stretch of his first bodysuit, or at least played with it. I don't think he went into it full. See, now you can see over on the other arm what the other side of the flowers looked like prior.
Yeah,
so,
and
none of that's surprising to me.
The bright color version, I like. I think it stands out more. I think it was a good call to go in with color.
Listen, like, once you start playing with color, like, black and gray has very little value to you. Like, I'm sure as soon as he did it, and I think he did actually say in one of the emails he sent, it was like, oh man, now I need to put color everywhere.
Yeah.
And he realized all at once, like, the whole thing's starting again.
Well, I'm in it for the long haul.
Right. But, like, you know what? It's sad kind of when you have to stop. So I'm sure he's also very excited too,
yeah.
right? Like,
new journey.
He never looks unhappy to be here.
Nope.
Right? Like, he's always pretty happy to come in.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I think a lot of people like getting tattooed, and it's sad when they have to stop. So we'll feature his updates as he sends them.
So let's start this next one. It says, hi Remy. My arm has had a somewhat rough ride the last year, and I thought I'd share it with you. About 1.5 years ago, I decided to get a 2/3 Japanese style sleeve in Mexico City. Didn't do my research on the artist, and karma punished me hard for it. I started lasering it away soon after for about a year. The plan was to laser everything away to start clean again, but then I stumbled upon your channel and learned you can cover black ink with just about any color. So I started doing my cover-up soon after that in Mexico City with another artist, of course. After 5 sessions, I decided to finish the tattoo with another artist in Medellin, Colombia. Who knew who I knew from previous tattoos. The reason for that was the artist in Mexico wasn't showing up for the appointments and came in 2 hours late multiple times. Haha, very typical.
Yeah, that's like old school tattooer stuff.
Anyway,
people getting tattooed these days,
yeah, they
have no idea.
They have no idea.
They have no idea, and most of them, like, I wish I could inflict that on most people.
I'm happy that it's changed.
I am happy that it's changed, but people don't value good artists because they don't understand what it was actually like.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, I wouldn't put up with that. Well, you had no fucking choice. Yeah,
because everybody was doing it.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
It was like that everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
So, and I feel like everybody should have to deal with that for some period of time, just to respect the people who are there for their appointments a little more.
He goes on to say, anyways, many sessions later, I'm proud to show it to you. It still needs one more touch-up session, which I will get in 3 months. Unfortunately, there's quite a bit of scar tissue from the laser. This is why I don't think lasering is a great idea.
More scar tissue than tattooing most times.
Especially on the shoulder. I've included my old and new tattoo for comparison. Have fun ripping it apart. Have a good day, Remy.
So our shop bum, or shop rat, whatever you want to call him, Trevor, he did a little bit of laser on his arm. He got almost nothing out of it, and he has like giant scar tissue from it. It wasn't done here.
Interesting.
But like I was looking at it, I was like, what the fuck?
Is that the arm that Ashes
it's the other arm.
Rick are reworking?
It's the other arm.
It's the other side,
and
okay.
It's like powdery looking.
Huh.
Like it's like blown up and weird.
Nasty.
And the tattoo is still there, the same as it was.
Interesting.
It's thicker than any scar tissue anywhere on my body, and I've had places tattooed over 30 times just from a little bit of laser. He only did like 2 sessions. So he got nothing out of it and fucking nothing but scar tissue and probably paid out the ass.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of reasons I'm not a big fan of laser.
As you do the laser.
I do the laser because there's people who want it. Even though I try and tell people, like, there's a better way. This is not really the best option for most things. And also the people who do laser who will tell you every tattoo can be removed are straight lying through their teeth.
Yeah.
So... yeah.
Let's look at this.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Like, it's a lot of crazy going on in there.
Yeah, I don't love it.
I mean, like, it's not actually the worst thing I've ever seen, but, like, I mean, the first thing. And then they lined this thing over and around it because they were going to cover it with, or no, they were going to continue those things. I don't think it's laid out that poorly. I think this would have been better than he thinks it would have been. It wouldn't have been great. But, like, I see people send me things proudly that are far worse than this. So if this is where we start, and this is what he thinks is terrible and I'm going to rip apart, then... we can only hope to go further. The little portrait on his rib is very nice, too.
Yeah, I thought so,
I just wanted to mention that's a very nice little thing there. And this is cool.
This is the new...
no fucking trace of the old tattoo, eh?
Yeah, I really like this.
Where'd the black go, guys?
Yeah, ooh.
Where'd the black go? You see the outline through all of this. Oh, don't worry. That outline will come back in a period of... first, we'll say it'll be a week, okay?
Yeah, and then when it hasn't shown up in a week.
Yeah, then we'll move it to a year. And then in a year, it'll be like, show me it in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And then...
I want to see it in 10 years.
Then we'll move it to 10 years. Because then it's like, oh, by the time we get there, the person who says it will have forgotten and they won't be... so that we're always right? Yeah. That outline's not coming back. And anyone who tells you that is a fucking moron. That guy should be disregarded. This is a bulletproof cover-up, and I have no fucking like question about it. Like,
if it was well done, the outline should not be coming back.
Even a fairly poorly done, like that outline wasn't that solid, right? Like that outline was kind of gray. Yep. It wasn't like, there are some things that can be hard to cover, like that stupid fucking angel on Buddy's chest. Oh yeah, that was like. But those lines are dark and blown out, and they're textured. Like, he can feel them. That thing on his arm was in no way as bad as... and then it had a couple sessions of laser, too, right? So... even then, like, it's like, once that damage is done, it's hard to do anything about. Like, when things are really blown out, they're hard to get rid of. Yeah. They're hard to lighten, even. But anyway, this is a very convincing, very cool cover-up. And the guy did a lot of really nice tricks in here. Like, there's lots of cool color play. I really love how bold that white outline makes the horse's face.
Mm-hmm.
He would be completely lost in this without it.
Yeah, I think that was a smart play.
The brown really did its trick. All this brown, gray, opaque, whatever the fuck it is. It really just buried all that black.
Yeah.
Like there's no chance that's coming back.
Yeah, this is a way better sleeve. Oh, and then there's the Plague Doctor on the inside. That's cool too.
That's really cool fucking sizing. Very cool play with the...
And that bold kind of sunset colors in behind. I love it.
Yeah, the play with where the hand is on the right below the bicep is really cool too, because it'll move with his arm.
Oh yeah, smart.
Right, that tattooer that did this is fucking... He's a badass for sure. This is that thing I'm always telling people, like, there's probably someone in your area that's a badass, because people are always worried about traveling to people they see on Instagram that do amazing work. I've never seen this before, but it's better than every tattoo I've seen on Instagram today.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know if he has a huge platform or not.
Well, that's the thing, though, is like not all good tattoo artists know how to Instagram. I think
no.
Ricky at
We're
our
going to
shop,
show some of his work on here soon, and it's like that guy is a butcher with Instagram.
Yeah, he's awful at Instagram, but he's a world-class artist.
Yeah, it's
so
like...
Don't, Instagram's not our only...
Well, most people these days, they look at their phones nonstop and they see most of what they're purchasing on their phone, right? And that comes to tattoos as well.
I really like this bottom kind of black and like sort of pinky red area too, like super nice.
It's a masterclass of color play. Like the negative space in there is so well used to keep this apart, because the tones are actually all very similar, right? Like they would look very, very blobby without that very slim amount of negative in there, and it really does everything for this piece. I also like how the outline of that flower comes up beyond the black rim, because it makes it look more organic, less like it's like this is the finishing line and more just like flow, you know.
Right.
I really, really like that. I like everything about this, to
Me
be honest
too.
with you. From the back, like it looks really cool with that flower cap at the top there. Like this is one of the nicer sleeves I've seen in a while. You would never know this was a cover-up.
No,
like
I agree.
They would have no idea. You could not tell anyone this was...
Fully agree. I think
like,
this is really well done.
Where do you see any black under this?
No, nowhere.
So,
it's beautifully done.
But the problem is, like, some people will go, oh, well, this was only doable like this because there was room to... It's like, no. You could... This guy who did this could cover anything this way.
This guy who did this could do this on your arm.
He could. Theoretically, it maybe be darker. It would still be doable. And with a couple passes, it could be just as bright.
Yep.
The real difference between covering, like, black versus negative is, like, you're going to need more passes for the same result.
Yep.
Right? Like, so I'm not sitting here telling you that the colors you do on black are going to be as bright as they would be on negative space. I've never once said that.
Yeah.
It's just, if you do the passes and you saturate all that black, they will be. It just takes more time.
Right. It's like a bucket. You got to fill it with more ink.